All right. Welcome to the Cash Flow Empire, where every Tuesday night we love to bring family, friends, operators, and just everybody who's in real estate. And our philosophy here at the Cash Flow Empire is really to talk about the dirty, ugly truth um, of real estate, right? I mean, we hear a lot of good things for the most part about what we got going on in real estate. And we never really talk about what goes on behind the scenes. So this is why we do this every Tuesday. And tonight we actually have a very, very special guest, someone that just means a lot to me personally, somebody that I've actually just met a year ago. We just concluded, and guys, I love bringing these type of individuals more than I like bringing the higher end, as far as like the Michael Blancs or the Brad Sumrocks. Most of y'all know we have Brad Sumrock on the show. We've had Rod Cleve. We've had a lot of these big names, and which is amazing, right? That's what kind of gets us a little more credible. But at the end of the day, if I'm going to be completely honest, I love to bring the people like Tammy Yading, who we're bringing tonight, just because, we have a really, really great personal relationship with these people. Um, One of the things, just let me brag on Tammy, something about Tammy, for those of y'all, she's going to do her intro in a minute. But me and Tammy, I mean, we're in the trenches together. We do this multifamily stuff together. Me and Tammy have some tough conversations where we literally have to sit here and be like, all right, let's calm down. Let's gather our thoughts. Let's get out of our feelings, and let's find some solutions, right? So Tammy's my ride or die, guys. Tammy is my ride or die. She's so knowledgeable in the property management field. She's so knowledgeable even on the asset management, and she's just something that's really, really special to me. She's someone that's super special to me. Not only a partner but a friend. I absolutely love her and her husband, Michael Yading. Shout out to Michael Yading. I don't know if he's on the call tonight, but these people do mean a lot to me. And it's such an honor just to have Tammy to join us tonight. So that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and welcome Tammy Yading to the stage.
Thank you. Wow, you're gonna make me choke up, Sergio. Thank you so much. I feel the exact same way. Um, it has been an incredible year. I love having like seeing Jonathan and Yoshi and Cecilia and Sean. These are people that have just invested so much time and energy, and I just am super grateful. It has just been an amazing ride, and it's just beginning. Like it's just beginning. And this this whole world was opened up to me just a year ago, but I started out in real estate in about 2019. I needed to get to a level of income very quickly. And so I got my real estate license in 1 month. I took all the classes, did everything I was supposed to, and did it in 1 month. And then just started real estate. And if you've ever done residential real estate, you know the turnaround time is anywhere from 30 to 60 days. So even though I had my real estate license, I still had to go out and I still had to go find those buyers. So I was on a team of what we call a Raymaker. That was with KW. And but until I had my first closing, I was dog walking, I was house sitting, I was babysitting, I was doing everything, donating plasma, everything I could do just to get to that next step. And in the next 2 years, I had over 60 transactions, either in listing or in buying. And I just took off. I didn't stop. And I attacked it like I attack everything else. Like I just went full throttle all the way in and just didn't stop. And as you guys know, as entrepreneurs, if you go into this world, you have maybe one day off, Sunday or Saturday, whatever you want to go for church. But even then, you're showing houses after church and whatever you need to do to move forward. So that was 2019 and 2020 for me. And actually I had a brief pause in between that. And that was working for a church. And I was so 2020 happened, ice apocalypse happened. I walked into the church just to volunteer, and they said, "Hey, you look like a leader. Can you lead this?" So for the next 7 days, I helped house over 1,000 people in our church. And when I got done with that, they came to me and said, "Hey, here's a job." So I became a church administrator. I, was responsible for helping 5 pastors and our lead pastor lead our church. And that's doing community events for over 2,500 people. That's doing conferences for over 2,000 people, and just really stepped into it. And in doing that, um, I it really heightened and actually made one of my personal superpowers even better. And I'll get into that in just a minute, because once I got into multifamily, that's where everything started coming together. My past experiences really started coming into play. And I did that for about a year. I was with the church for about a year. And then I was back into residential real estate. I worked with a broker who did 30 million between Texas and Oklahoma, 20 million for Texas, 10 for Oklahoma. And that means that she had about 600 buyers. So I was back in it 7 days a week, helping her, close those deals and do the real estate side of it. And then I was to the point where it's like, hey, I'm helping everyone build their empire. I want to have a piece of the pie. I want to build. I want to get in this and I want to have a piece of it. I just don't want to build someone else's company for them. So I was invited into this group. I was introduced to Sean and Jana and Cecilia, Sergio and Jonathan by Jedediah, and came in and just very grateful for that introduction. And then from there on, it's gone crazy. So now, a year later, managing 2 properties. So I personally manage 2 of our properties, where we're at 100% occupancy. And then we just now took on managing Casa. So we're super excited about that. And just now the asset management's coming into it, helping Sergio with asset management, learning that on our other properties as well. So that kind of stepped into everything that we're doing right now. But back to the superpower, one of mine is I'm teachable, and I make myself teachable. I want to learn and glean everything I possibly can. Cecilia has literally invested her 30 years of experience in me in this last year. And it has taken me from little to no experience. Didn't really know how to read that TA lease, didn't know all those, all the ins and outs of all that, to now where, helping overseeing the property and understanding the importance of those things. And then, but to be teachable, to have a teachable heart, you have to be humble. And that's where the church came in. Like, to serve a community, you have to have a servant's heart, and you have to be humble, and you have to humble yourself, and you have to really say, hey, I don't know that. I'm not sure about that. And then also to be confident, like Sergio said, like, we have to calm ourselves down, because like I'm just as determined as he is. And here's the amazing thing, we're fighting for the property, we're fighting for the asset. He has a concept, I have a concept, he has a vision, I have a vision, and we're marrying those visions. But it's also having that heart of saying, hey, we're partners in this. How can we slow this down? And how can we look into this? And then how can we move forward? So it's pretty cool. It's been awesome. Sean has been awesome. He's very patient. Trust me.
I will say that.
There is a lot of times where I'm like, I just don't know this, or he has to repeat it. So from invoicing to all of it, like it's been an incredible year. So that's a brief look at the last couple of years.
What an introduction. And I think I honestly wanted to, because when I met Tammy, I remember just getting this vibe from her, that very like she said earlier, and it sounds ugly, I'm gonna say it, but she had that servant's vibe, that like, hey dude, like, what do you need? And I'm like, holy crap, who is this individual, right? Like, who is this? That's a hustler right there. Like, she's like willing to hey, I'm here, like, what do you need help with? Like, let's go. So she's been amazing since the time I met her. We end up becoming, I mean, we hang out all the time. We haven't hung out lately, but we need to. Called her this week. I was like, hey, it's about that time we hang out, not talk about business, and just literally, like, there's times where we just hang out at her spot, me, her, and her husband. Like, hey, let's just kick our feet up and watch like a game, or hang out.
In Cowboys game.
Cowboys games. I mean, we're always watching the games together. We're parking people at the Sweet Redemption, and then we watch the game and do a little cookout. But I just think it's so amazing how far I've seen you just grow in this year, from a high level, especially just, just watching you. And I think I'm just so amazed on one thing that amazed, and I was with you this week, right? And no, it was Friday. I was with you Friday. And something one thing about me and Tammy actually work together, right? Where she does a lot of the PM, and she dabbles into the which is property management side, and then she also dabbles into the asset management. So she's kind of got her toes or her feet in both ends. I stay in my lane. I'm more on the capex slash asset management side, right? So one thing about me, I like to kind of let take lead. I know what's going on, but I'm just kind of like, okay. So I saw her last Friday. We met up at the property with the contractor, and we're walking because we're getting more bids, right? That's what we do. We're trying to find more bids. We're getting more people in, um, and I'm watching her take the lead, and she's just blowing and glowing. I'm like, man, go, girl, you got it. She's like, no, I'm Serge, I'm sorry. I was like, no, go. Like I respect you. Do your thing. You're in your zone. You're in your mode. Like go. I respect that, right? Such a hard worker. Tammy's just such a damn hard worker, and that's just something that you can't find in anybody. And just going back to just backtracking to the multifamily, Tammy, because I want to talk about the dirty ugly truth. I've seen you literally like almost wanting to pull your head out and work so hard, and you're just like and, most of the conversations aren't. It's like dang, like they're tough, right? Because we got to get things done. And let's talk a little bit about your experience with property management. I've seen you in action. Like you have learned so much in such a short amount of time that I would have figured that you've been doing this for a handful of years just because of how smart you are. And I like to say this, I think I was bragging about you the other day. I'm like, dude, Tammy is like a sponge, literally. Everything she hears and she listens, like it just goes in, and then she starts to implement it right off the bat, and it allows her to be that expert that, you figure, like, holy crap, Tammy's been doing this shit for 5-10 years. So talking about the property management side of things, Tammy, I mean, you knew nothing about PMs. Here you are managing now a 63 unit with the 43 that you started on with the 18 in Dallas. So now you're a little shy of 100 units that you're helping managing, right? Taking lead on, including the 133 in Arlington that we just closed on about a couple weeks ago, which you're not taking the lead on that, but you're still helping out, right? But how the heck does somebody like you do this, from zero experience after, more than a year ago, or not even a year ago?
Yeah. So that's contributing to the support of our team. I mean, to be honest, like Cecilia, I met her at Brad Sumrock's rat race in last March. And I just started asking her questions, slowly but surely asking her questions. And it turned into one call or two calls a week to Cecilia and I think I had to delete our chat and restart because it was like almost 3 gigs. So I mean, it's just it's it's a day, but it's the thing is I don't want her to waste her time repeating herself. And like Sean and Janet and you guys, I have to make sure what I'm taking in, I understand it. So I have to make sure that when I'm hearing it, that I immediately implement it. And there's a reason why. It's also due to you have to look at the asset. I have to look at the asset different ways. I have to look at it as property management. What is the best for the property management? And then I have to put a different hat on, and I have to put a hat on for ownership. What, like, if I don't make this move, how's this going to affect ownership? So, and how's this going to affect our financial bottom? And then I have to put another hat on for asset management. Like, and then you just have to marry those two. And to be honest, it's just, it's educating yourself. It's going to the Brad Sunmarks. It's going to the Grant Cardone. It's going to our Thursday meetups. It's listening to Sean and Janet. It's listening to you guys. It's coming on these podcasts and hearing everyone and just going over and over and over again. But it's also just, recently I'm a perfectionist, so that can actually cause me to be a problem because like they'll be wanting a report, it'll be, and I'm like, oh, it's just not perfect. It's just not, and I have to remember that if I don't move forward, that's actually a problem. That actually can cause more of a problem. So I just need to move forward and then get the feedback. And so this is another thing that I've learned in life. Like I want feedback. Like I'll ask Sean, I'll ask Cecilia, hey, what am I doing wrong? What's not making this right? Or what is wrong in this? Let's dive down into this. Because when I do that, I learn what's wrong and I quickly put two and two together and figure out. So it's that teachable. It's willing to be okay. It's okay being wrong. And it's okay with anyone coming back to me as long as it's constructive feedback. I will take it all day long because that's only going to make me better. It's only going to give me more opportunity, more education. And I have to put my ego aside and I have to put myself aside for that. So in property management, it's the same thing. To be fully transparent, I had a couple conversations today, probably not my best conversations I've had. But you know what? Now I get to go back to those residents and say, hey, this is what I can do for you. This is the solution. I know we had this conversation and it wasn't the best conversation. You were frustrated, I was frustrated, but here now I can present a solution. Now this is what we can do. This is how we can move forward. But when I do that with our residents, when I interact with our vendors, residents, whoever it is, that lets them know I'm human. And if I'm human, I'm relatable. And if I'm relatable, I'm workable. And that just, it goes a long ways. Um, our renewal rate, there's things that you look at, like Cecilia, she'll say something and I'm like, oh, well, it's not a big deal. Well, I just had 6 renewals. That's actually a big deal. To retain and keep your residents at the rate that we have them on our properties right now is a big deal. So to answer that question, Sergio, how to handle all that, first of all, you have to be okay with making mistakes. Just do it. Just move forward. Second, take the feedback. You may not want to, and it may be really hard to hear, but don't take it personally. How many times have you and I said, okay, hey, let's not make this personal? Like,
Yeah,
you know, before 8 o'clock in the morning, you're going to get a different Tammy, or before coffee, you're going to get a different, it's going to be very direct, very like, hey, this is how this cookie's going to crumble, right? But in the end, like when I come back to it, because I also have to be careful because I have a very tender heart too. Because like I want to help everyone. I want everyone to have a good place to live. I want to understand everyone's problem and I want to fix everyone's problem. Because I was in charge of benevolence at the church. Like people would come and say, hey, I need money for rent. Okay, let me fix that. I need food. Okay, let me fix that. I can't do that on our properties, but I can find solutions and I can find it, the best solution for them at that situation. But yes, being teachable, humble, and workable, it goes right back to that.
how hard has, because here's my thing. I mean, we obviously, the MIA group guys, I mean, we're buying properties, we're self-managing them, we're vertically integrating the construction and project management. I mean, we're doing it all, even the maintenance. We're doing it all in-house. And I'm a huge believer as an owner operator in multifamily that you need to understand the process on how management goes. I don't need to know it all, right? I don't
Mhm.
need to get in the trenches like Tammy. I don't need to sit here and start getting in her lane, but to have a high level understanding on how property management works is something that's going to make me as an operator become better, right? Just as Sean. Sean is a damn good guy at financials. He knows construction, asset management, capex. He's obviously dabbled into the property management side of things. That is a solid operator. Sean Ricehouse is a solid operator. At the end of the day, everybody needs to be that. Everybody needs to have that pride. So it goes back down to Tammy. My next question: How tough is it to learn what you've learned in this year? I mean, how tough is it? Let's be real. I mean, and tell the truth. I mean, people need to know this.
So I'm up. We were just talking about this. I'm up. My alarm goes off at 4:45. I'm up at 5. Um, Typically I'm putting in information most days, most really good days. I'm putting in information for Sean because he needs it by 6 or 7, or he needs it by 8, but I'm putting it in around 6 or 7. So I'm up and going. I have 2 virtual assistants that assist me and we're already communicating about 7 o'clock in the morning. We're already texting back and forth. So this has been it has been this way since last April. Since last April, it has been up at 4:45, 5 o'clock in the morning, going all day and not stopping. And it's not abnormal for me to be here an office on a property till 7 or 6 in the evening. And that's the weekends. That's because I do, I'm responsible for 2 properties. I have the property phone, so I'm handling the maintenance calls over the weekend. I'm calling in maintenance on the weekend. So it's not easy. And trust me, there are days where I'm just like, that's it. I'm handing the phone in, I'm handing the computer in, we're done. But I have to remember, I wouldn't be happy in a 9 to 5 job. 9 to 5 job, guys. I would not be happy at all. This is my thing. This is my jam. I love doing this. I love being super busy. Um, I have, like, every time we've added something, instead of saying, oh, this is too much, or oh, this is, and you do have to learn your limit. I will say that I have learned my limit. But instead of saying that this is too much, I just learned how to expand my rubber band. I just learned how to expand my bandwidth. How can I become more efficient? Who can I delegate this to so I can handle this? So, my VAs went from being part-time to full-time because now I have a VA that does the renewals and helps me keep track of all our financials. I have another VA that helps me do all the financials and all the QuickBooks. And it's just learning how to become a master of your time and managing your time well and increasing your bandwidth. Because the more I learn, the more I can increase, the more I can delegate, the more we can move that needle. And so then it goes back to our team. Like, how can I make our team successful? So it's not easy. And there are days, like, I call Sergio, I'm like, not today. Like, this is how it's going to happen today.
And me and Sean are very similar. If you know who Sean is, Sean, I mean, he's real laid back, like, oh, okay. I go with her, like, Tammy, this is your world, girl. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. All right.
It's coming on property and knowing, for example, on one of our properties, the boiler went out. And I just happened to be there for a different reason. And then it was like, oh, well, this is happening. And I kind of, I'm what they call a chaos coordinator, but I also cause chaos. And what that does is it gets things moving. Like, if things are stagnant, like if Sean's like, hey, Tammy, where's this at? Why is this not, where's this? Where's this? It's because we're stagnant. Things have come to a halt, and I have to go in and I have to stir that. I have to get it going. Like, I have to call you. I have to call someone else. I'm like, hey, let's get this done. It needs to be done now. And it's just getting, like, it's causing the chaos and also controlling the chaos.
I love it. I love it. And just I see you guys operate. I shadow you and Cecilia, and I tip my hat to y'all just because y'all deal with a lot of stuff that I'm just like, you know what, I couldn't do that. I'm good. Y'all got it. And that's the point of having a solid team when you're shopping and buying multifamily, guys, is being able to have the Tammy Yadens on the team, the Cecilias on the team to sit there and handle that kind of stuff. Just because, I mean, I'll pass. I know Sean will pass too. So I want to talk about some of the things me and you've experienced on properties. Just because nothing's ever pretty, right? Let's talk about the ugly, dirty truth.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the squatters we had to deal with at one time, and then the deaths that we had to deal with.
Yeah.
I mean, this is something that we don't talk about in multifamily. Everybody talks about the hoorahs, the yays. We just closed on a property, guys. You see the damn Facebook pictures. You see everybody, celebrating like, yay, I'm the owner, but like, us in the trenches and having to, deal with stuff like that. Like this is stuff that happens. So like, let's talk about the bullshit that we see.
Yeah. So it's never fun to get this call. Typically when you see I know, Sean. It's never fun to get the certain calls. Like, I know if my phone's ringing at 10, 11 o'clock at night from a property manager, something's wrong. Something's pretty wrong. And that has recently we've experienced that. We've had a couple deaths on two of our properties, and that's not fun. That's not number one, from a heart standpoint. You never want to hear that. You never want to hear that, someone's no longer here. But then you have to kick in and you have to think, okay, what is our liability? What is our next step? We got to protect the asset. We got to protect, all these things, and you got to figure it all out. And so, and has been Cecilia is probably one of the most consistent people that I have ever been taught by and mentored by, because she's always consistent. I already know when I call her and tell her that something's going on, she's going to ask me about the details about the liability due to the property. Who's on the lease? Do we have a emergency contact? I mean, like, you just start going down those lists, and when you start, but she's consistent every single time. If I'm calling her about that, she's asking, who's the emergency contact? Do we have an emergency contact? Are we going to close up the unit? Just things like that. So that, on that situation, squatters, loitering, and you have to be careful too. On one of our current properties, I just went in there, and they got to the point where if they saw my car, they started heading off the property because they knew I was already telling them. I don't know how that just happened, but anyways, they knew that if they saw it, that I was going to be kicking them off the property. And that's another thing, knocking on doors. Like, Sergio, you were with us and with Cecilia, we're banging on the door telling them that they have to get out. We're calling the cops. It's trespassing, knowing our limits, knowing what we can do, what we can't do.
About that,
uh,
I actually want to talk about that, because guys, going back to the do's, the don'ts, the what do we do because remember, guys, I mean, I'm learning from Cecilia's experience. I'm learning also the property management side of things from Tammy's experience. And this is just how we do shit. We help each other out. We're at Casa San Luis, and I see I'm supposed to be meet Tammy out there. We're supposed to walk some units. We're punching out some units that just got renovated, making sure everything, the quality's there, everything's up to code standard, just the way we want it. So as I'm pulling into the property, I see Cecilia. Cecilia's just like, you don't want to mess with her. Like, I already saw she was doing the walk, the Latina walk, and she was serious, and she was waving me down. She was like, I was like, okay, like, okay, yeah, I'm pulling up. Like, I thought she was saying hi to me. I was, oh, hey, but she was waving me down, and I saw her having the serious walk. So I was like, holy crap, what's really going on, right? So I get out of the truck, and then I tell Tammy, I'm like, hey, what's going on? Why are you out here? And I see a lot of people scrambling. Well, it turns out that we had about 10 squatters in a unit. And to be honest, in my here's what was going through my mind. Okay, owner or not, me being a part of this owner or management or not, there's people that I don't know. I'm with two women. I want to be defensive. I don't care, what the situation is. I want to get defensive because there's some people that are probably highly using drugs. There's 10 of them in a unit. I don't know what they got. My reaction is okay, I wish I had my gun on me. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know what's gonna happen. They can charge at us with needles or knives. I mean, I don't know. That's just my train of thought as a man, I guess. I don't know. But
so it's
I
having
was
it's having the mom look. It's also knowing who you are and knowing who's behind you. And I say that in a spiritual manner. I know I need to be careful. Just can't go barging into a unit, but I also know I'm there for a purpose. And I also know I have the mom walk. They're not going to question authority. People will ask, when I go on property, I don't have to introduce myself as a property manager or a property owner. They never ask me. They never question it because it's how I present myself. So when we're dealing with trespassers and things like that, they don't trust me. They have never questioned me. Who are you? They know I'm serious by my tone and who I am. And you just have to be smart about it too, Sergio. Like you're
and
saying, protective. You have to be smart about it.
that's
But
where that's where I was going with it. But when I was observing the situation and I saw how y'all handled it, the first thing that Cecilia was doing was banging on the door. Hey, y'all gotta go. Cops, sheriff's on the way. And I was like just screaming it, because I'm like, okay, cool, cool. That's how you do this. And then, rather than doing a scene, it was like she kind of like told him, like, man, you guys know better. Like, what are y'all doing? Like, who, you don't just walk in people's properties. I gotta go. Very, very cool, very calm about the situation. And to my surprise, they weren't aggressive, they weren't hostile. They were just freaking out, like screaming. And one of the girls was on drugs, like, just yelling for no reason. The other guy was very respectful. He was like, yes, ma'am, we're sorry. And they were just gathering all their stuff and they vacated the property. But that's just something that I learned. And that's just something that you can tell that this wasn't Cecilia's first rodeo. This wasn't Tammy's first rodeo. But here I am, like, holy crap, I'm a little nervous. Like, am I gonna have to freaking take these guys down? Am I gonna have to tackle them or apprehend them myself? Where do I draw the line? I'm with
We
two
got
women.
you.
You
We
know,
got you.
I love it. I love it. So, what an amazing job done by these women. I mean, very, very amazing. They're true professionals at what they do. I take a lot of pride in learning a thing from, although Tammy still learned from Cecilia, and I think that Tammy knows a lot. I think she knows the whole book. I just take a lot of pride to call them my partners and to be able to to learn from them also on the property management side of things. And just great job, ladies. I mean, y'all are amazing. Y'all are kicking butt. Y'all are obviously just turning things around on the property management side of things on our properties. But what are some other ugly things that we see? I mean, that maybe that somebody to the naked eye or to the investor doesn't see on the back end that you guys would like to talk about.
So you're talking about conflict resolution is what you're talking about. And we have to practice that all day long. Like, because there's people who want to get upset because they haven't paid rent. Like, they want to blame you. Like Cecilia said, they know. They know they're not supposed to be on the property. They know they haven't paid their rent. They know that they have bed bugs, so they haven't kept their unit clean. They know. And no one likes to have a mirror held up to them, right? So no one likes to have that held to their face. So what you do is you just you give them the opportunity to have grace. You let them bow out gracefully, and you don't have to be aggressive. I can get my point across without cursing, yelling, or screaming. I do it all the time. Residents, vendors, Sean, you could just, you can get your point across without doing all those things and without making someone feel bad. Like, that's not my goal at the end of the day, is to make someone feel bad. I just need them to get where I need them to be. Out of the unit, pay your rent, take care of your place, and keep it clean. I can do those things and still be caring and still be kind. And it's just conflict resolution. And so it's not matching the energy. Like, you have to bring the energy. You're the thermometer, you're the thermostat, you're the one that's controlling the energy. So if I bring positive, happy, like, hey, let's get this done, let's go, let's go, let's go, they're going to respond way better. Or, hey, I sit down with them, I'm like, hey, I know you're in this situation, whatever the situation is, give them an opportunity to bow out gracefully. They may be lying to your face. I don't care. At the end of the day, are you going to be at the point that I need you to be? Yes. Trust me, you'll be there. You'll be out of my unit, you'll be paying your rent, or you'll be cleaning up your unit. But I can give them an opportunity to have and save face and just get done with it. If I meet aggression with aggression, I'm going to have aggression and I'm going to have a problem. So, kicking out the people or talking to people, well, it might be a great stress reliever because you just want to take a bat to them sometimes, but it doesn't solve anything. And then I'll get a fine, and Cecilia will be talking about how I violated the TA lease. So I don't want that conversation.
Nice. So I love it. I love how we just transitioned your story, how you started in the multifamily, coming from single family. We talked a little bit about property management for those that are just kind of into that. I want to kind of pivot a little bit more on you. I want to know, because obviously we're here to talk about Tammy. I mean, obviously we talk a lot about multifamily. We're doing multifamily, but Tammy, I got a question.
Oh, no. Okay.
did you ever think that you were going to be a part of buying apartments? Was it even possible in your mind? Like, did you have any idea you were going to end up here? Like, or what's going on, girl?
I didn't. When we first started out, my only goal was that I had a piece in the pie. That's all I wanted. I just wanted something. I was willing to settle for anything. I just wanted to be in. Um, and now to be at this point in 1 year, and like you said, it hasn't been easy. It's been long days. It's been hard days. It's been a lot of learning and creating, and still having a family on side of that. So no, like it's very surreal sometimes to sit back and to be able to have that conversation and take pride and ownership and just say, hey, I'm affiliated with ownership, or I'm a part of the ownership of this property, and being able to get other people excited. Because I know when I first started, I never thought I'd be where you are. I never thought I would be where Jonathan. My goal is Cecilia and Sean. Like, I want to be a KP. I want to be a GP. I want to, there's things that I want. And in the beginning, it seemed so far away. It seemed like, oh, I'll be 46 in June. And I'm like, I'm so far behind. Like, I'm so far behind. I need to, that's also a drive. Like, how can I get there faster? How can I get there sooner? And guys, it's obtainable. Like, it takes hard work, it takes dedication, um but it is so attainable. It is so attainable. And I cannot tell you how important. I know that Jana says this, Sean says this, so you guys say, every one of us says this: choose your partners wisely, choose your mentors wisely, choose who you allow to feed your brain, because what you feed your brain is what's going to come out. So if I let someone that doesn't know what they're doing, or causes mass chaos, or causes problems into my world, I'm going to give that same thing back out. So, Jonathan, you, Sean, Cecilia, Jana, you guys bring in all the information so I can learn and I can grow. And it's super important to choose who you partner with. I cannot emphasize that enough.
And just to shout you out again, Tammy. I mean, I asked that question because I mean, I hope you guys don't. I need y'all to understand that. I mean, we get into this multifamily, right? What you go to a Sunrock event, you go to a Cardone event. You get a little educated. You start hearing these terminologies, GP, LP, and everybody says, I want to be a GP, and don't necessarily understand the work that goes behind it. And I'm here to witness. I mean, I'm there, right? Because I've been a part of a couple deals. I've been doing this for going on 3 years now with the partners. Tammy's been doing this for a solid year, and I've seen her grind this thing out. I'm talking about you like Monday through Sunday, grind it out, putting in the work. Like, what do I got to do? Tammy jump, she'll say how high. Like, that is the attitude she's had from the jump. And that is what it takes to sit here and to get affiliated in these type of groups and what people are looking for, which is why I want to recognize you for that, girl. Like we've had so many conversations. We've had a lot of ups, we've had a lot of downs, we've had conversations we don't want to talk about. And, you know, just to watch you grow and to recognize you. And I just always brag about you, man. That girl works so hard, and people need to understand that to get to that level, like you got to do these kind of things. It's not a walk in the park. And I just hope people understand that it's not as simple as people make it seem. There's a lot of sacrifices that do go behind, just trying to be a part of a team, trying to contribute, the sleepless nights, stress, and just a lot. So I just do want to recognize you for your hard work. I mean, I tell you all the time, and you know this. I
Yes.
tell you before, behind cameras, behind anybody, I tell you in your face when it's one on one, hey, keep hustling, girl. I love it. Just keep working hard. We all noticed it. So it's just very, very tough. It's not easy. And I just think just to keep reiterating this on every Tuesday night, like it just takes a lot of hard work, dedication, and Tammy's doing that. So Once again, I'm just super proud of how hard you work and how far you've came in a year. Like, are you not tripping out that you've done it so much in so little time? Imagine where you're gonna be a year from now.
Oh, I know. And I'm not letting up. You can't let up. Right now is not the time to let off the gas. Like we can't. Sean keeps
Why?
going to properties. So
Why? Tell us why.
we can't let up. We can't let up.
But explain to people explain to people like why you can't let up. People, I mean, because people get in this game for a year.
Because
They
the thing,
want
I'm not there yet. I will never be there yet. Like there's always another level. There's always something else to go for. And if you don't keep something ahead of you, then you kind of relax. You're like, oh, okay, I'm here. No, like there's always something else to learn. There's always something else to master. Like you find your one thing and you master it. I'm not saying I've mastered property management. I'm not saying I've mastered asset management, but now, like, guys, I didn't know what a T12 was. I was like, a T what? I didn't understand it. And Jana literally took an
a
hour.
Tijuana.
It took 2 days and literally explained it. But once I got it and once I understood what that meant and how that talked about the property and how it's the DNA, it's the RNA of the property, it shows you what's going on. And then Cecilia coming up and saying, hey, you need to look at the P&L. You need to look at the balance sheet because that's really what's going to tell you what's going on. Like it was, I started out small. I learned out, like, I remember asking Sergio, LOY, what's an LOY? What's a like PSA what? Like, are these emojis? Are these like, what are these like? Is it LOL? Like, what are y'all talking about? Like learning all those things because I didn't know how to interpret it, but like baby steps. I learned what a T12 was. Cecilia showed me how to look at a balance sheet and a P&L to know what the property's doing. Guys, it's crazy. You can look at certain documents and know what the property's doing. But I didn't know that. But I can't let up. I can't stop there. Like now, learning how to do asset management. Like I want to be able to go in and do that. We're taking down properties. How can we efficiently take down properties? Like here's the truth, guys. When we buy a property and we go in, whether we're managing it or not, whether we're doing it, it is still sleepless nights. It is still a lot of work because there is this transition. There's 30, 60 days where it's just like you wonder what the heck just happened. Like, did everyone just lose their ever loving mind? And you're just trying to figure out what's going on and you're trying to get all these pieces together. But we're learning how to do that quickly because the more efficiently we can do that, the quickly we can do that. The turnaround for the property, the betterment for the property, betterment for the asset, betterment for the residents. It's a less of a harder curve for them. So guys, it's every day. There's not one day that I don't learn something from Cecilia. I promise you. Every day I've learned something from Cecilia. Sean has taught me about construction and invoices and how to do this. Like there are days where I'm just like, I just want to go sleep because I can't look at another thing. I can't see another thing. But you get up the next morning and you go after it. And the days that I want to quit are the days that I get up the hardest and I go after it the hardest because those are the days that pay off the best.
Great advice and great just very I can hear it in you that you're very passionate about how hard you work and how hard you're just gonna get up and just roll with the punches. Like, let's go. I don't know what I don't know, but I'm gonna figure it out. And when I find out, we're gonna get shit done and be successful. And that's the attitude you need to have. And I think this is why we all just work very, very well together. And just kind of collaborate. Not only do we know how to have fun and smile and crack a smile, but when it gets down to the nitty gritty and like have the serious conversations. I mean, we get down to business, right? So I'm just super, super blessed to be able to work along your side, to learn from you, because I don't know it all. I don't know it all either, and just picking your brain on a lot of the things, and growing with you is it's just been such a great journey, and I hope to continue that, for the years to come, for the assets to come. So we just got to keep fighting and growing together, and being open. I mean, this is what this is about, guys. At the end of the day, yeah, I mean, it is a real estate call, right? So this is how we're talking is how you got to be successful, how we succeed. This is how we're able to close the deals that we're closing. I mean, you're hearing that we're submitting LOIs left and right. We're closing deals left and right. Oh my God, y'all got another opportunity? Yeah, we do. Well, this is how we're doing it. Having these type of attitudes, having these type of team members, these partners like Tammy on board. So when you're listening to us, bring Sean to the call, bring Tammy to the call. When you go back and look at Cecilia's, podcast, because she's been on here too, put 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 together and be like, holy shit, this is what they're doing. Like, this is a team they got. Yeah, this is what it takes. This is why we're succeeding, guys. This is and this is what you need to look forward to. Whether it's, hey, damn, that's a solid team. I'm gonna invest with these guys. I want to invest with MIA. Let me invest in their next deals. You know why? Because I've vetted every single one of these people
Mhm.
and they're solid. They're legit, right? Or if it's, damn, I need a team like that. I need to go find my tribe. I need to create a team to close multifamily like these individuals. Like, you ought to be looking at one or the other. And this is just how we roll. Once again, this is our tribe. Super blessed just to be able to just interlock arms with all these individuals that we keep shouting out. And we're going to continue to shout out every freaking Tuesday. And because this is how we roll, this is how we're able to be successful. And we want y'all to be a part of this. We brag about each other, but it's just like, hey, let's come together and buy these assets together. When you go ahead, Tammy.
No, I'm just saying, have your goals, have your numbers. This is what you're saying. Like, go find your tribe, go find who's trying to achieve what you're trying to achieve. Like, Sean and Jana and them didn't know, but my goal is I had to be at 100%. It wasn't, they didn't tell me, like, honestly, when you have a property at 100%, that's not a good thing. It's okay with the properties that I'm owning, or not owning, I'm managing, will be owning, but managing right now, that normally you want your property at 97, 90, you want some vacancy, because if you're at 100%, that means your rent is not where it needs to be. You're actually lower. You need to increase your rent. These properties that I'm managing are arbitrage. I already have them at a higher rent. I want to maintain them at 100%. But that was my personal goal. They didn't ask me to do that. That was something. So know your goals, know your numbers, know who you like, find people like Sean and Janice, Sergio and Jonathan. These people, Cecilia, they don't settle for less. They want the best. They expect the best. They expect us to be, because that's who you need to find. You need to find people who are A people and who are going to keep you pushing, because if you have a B person or a C person in your midst, they're going to pull you down. But you want the A people, because you want to strive. You always need to have a goal. You always need to be striving. Like, I just sent Michael's on here tonight. I sent him a house. I'm like, hey, this is our house next year. He has a hard time because I dream really big. I dream really, really big. And he's just like, oh my gosh, my wife is going to kill me. Like, put him in the grave early, because I want certain things in life. I want certain things for my family. And that means I'm 100% in occupancy. That means our other property, I promise you, I'm going to get it there. We're going to do it. With the property manager, we have a goal. Anything that we touch, we're going to be excellent, and we're going to provide excellence. And just find your goals. That's what you're talking about, Sergio. Find your people, find your tribe.
Let's do it. And I mean, maybe you can't. Maybe you're still kind of dabbling in other groups. But guys, I mean, we have a lot of things in the pipeline for MIA. I mean, and MIA, just to remind you guys, it's Sean, me, Jana, the Tammys, the partners, to see, like, everybody. This is our tribe. What we got going on. I mean, we have ConnectCon coming this fall in November. Like, guys, make it out, and come get to know us even more. We have a monthly meetup every month in Dallas, where we're in phenomenal locations. Come get to know us. Come shake our hands. Even if you're from out of the state, come fly in. Come fly in for the weekend for 2 days. Come in, fly in Thursday morning. Come to the Thursday meetup, and maybe we can even give you a tour of what we got going on a Friday morning, or maybe Thursday morning. We go tour some properties, show you what we got going on, and then we do the meetup. And you get to fly out Friday morning. Like, get connected. We're here to continue to grow, and to continue to build these relationships that we got going. Not only with Tammy, not only with John, with Cecilia, with Sean, but like with all of y'all too. So stay plugged in, and I mean, what an amazing call. Before we go onto the breakout rooms, Tammy, because we are at the top of the hour, I want you to. Well, there's actually a question in the chat. Um, we'll answer that question, and then I have a final question for you.
Sure.
It says it was from Gabrielle. What are the qualifications of the A people?
So A people are people who have their goals set. They know where they're going. And they have an idea of the direction of where they're going to go. They are, they don't deviate from it. They're consistent. They know where they're going. They know how they're going to get there. Typically, like they're your go-getters. They're going to be the ones that are up at 5 a.m. Like that's the thing, guys. Being a part of the 5 a.m. club, Sergio gets up and works out. I work out in the afternoon. It just works out what's better for me. But I'm still up at 5 a.m. because the world is happening. By the time you get to 8 o'clock, half my day is already gone because I've already done, because the world starts turning. That's when the vendors start calling. That's when everyone, the property starts opening up. Like I have to be ready. So just, they have their drive, they have their uplifting, and they're leaders. They're leaders. Leaders do not have to be in the front. Leaders actually shouldn't be in the front. They're servant leaders. They're coming behind and they're saying, hey, how can I help you to be better? Cecilia, amazing mentor, amazing leader. She literally has the heart and endeavor to make me better. How can I help you make you better? What can I teach you to make you better? She's been an amazing mentor for that. And then, people who believe in your success, finding those. So they want to lift up others. They want to build others. They want to contribute. They have goals. They have aspirations. And you can see by their fruit of their works, like it's just not talk. All these people, all of our partners are not talk. They're successful. They have the numbers to prove it. They have the paper. Jana's very quick to say, if it's not written, it's not real. Every one of these leaders, every one of these individuals, it's written. It's written in paperwork. It's written in efforts. It's written, and it's very real. Very, very real.
What an amazing call. But before, I don't know why I'm feeling this way today. I want to offer, you guys know we don't pitch on this call. We don't pitch anything. We don't try to sell you on nothing. We simply try to bring as much value as we can every Tuesday to try to help y'all out, learn, just get more involved, right? So I want to go ahead and tell y'all what we got going on. We obviously got, before we go into the breakout rooms, we do have an MIA mentorship program. That is a mentorship program that's very, very, very hands-on. That teaches you guys how to buy multifamily. You get involved deeply. And it's a very, very educational program where combined, we've probably spent, me and John, we've spent well over 100,000. Sean Ricehouse has spent over 100,000. Jana, I don't even want to get to her, how much money she spent on coaching and just everything. But we decided to create this coaching program where we all combined what we learned from Michael Blanc, Brad Sumrock, 10X, even Rod Cleef, all these warrior programs and everything. We basically collapsed it all into one. And technically you come in and you get very, very hands-on. Reach out to any one of us, reach out to me, reach out to Jonathan, Tammy, Sean, anybody that's in here that, just reach out to us, ask about it. Wouldn't hurt to talk about it, to see what we got going on and how we're doing these things, right? That's one thing. And I do want to remind you guys once again, Connect Cons this November. Don't miss out. Be here. It's in Dallas, Texas. It's going to be a hell of an event. Very, very great. Very successful last year. So keep that on your radar. We're going to go ahead and post links. We've been posting links, but Yoshi's not in here to back us up today with the links. Looks like she had to hop off the call. But make it out, guys. This is something that you do want to book out ahead of time. Make it out to Dallas. We got great food at our event. We have a great venue. We have great speakers. Like it is a legit full-on conference. This is something you don't want to miss. So that being said, Tammy, before we go into the breakout rooms, can you give us three pieces of advice It could be about life. It could be about property management. It can be about, inspirational. It can be whatever. Just give us those three um, quotes that you want us to leave this night with.
Be teachable. You have to humble yourself. Be teachable. Be a servant leader, which means you put others first. So be teachable, be humble, and don't don't give up. Your success is right around the corner. Like, it didn't happen in 6 months. It didn't happen in 9 months. And I am successful now in a year, but I'm going to be even more successful. Like, I can't give up. I have to keep going. I have to keep, finding that. So humble, set your standards. Don't give up your standards. Find your success, and then find your mentor. I will say that. Find your mentor. Find someone who can help you become a superstar, a rock star in what you're doing. Like, Jonathan's numbers, Cecilia's property management and AM or AS. And so that's your asset management. I can't talk right now. But those are all these things I found the people who are great at what they're doing 100%, and they're amazing mentors. And be okay with being wrong. Be okay with being wrong. So it's more than three, but there you go.
Nice, nice. Thank you so much, Tammy, once again. We'll let John stop the recording.